In this particular video, we're going to be talking about this Ferrari. It's called LaFerrari. This is going to be a hybrid, which this is new to me, but let's get into it. This is going to be the video that we'll get into more details about this. More specifically, we're going to be talking about inheritance and how this class car, it's going to inherit, or basically be the base class rather, of the Ferrari class. So let's get into it. The class car has three different attributes like number of wheels, number of doors, is engine running. We also have a dunder init method. We know that that is the first thing that gets called when we create an instance of this car class. We're going to take these make, model, and year attributes and set them accordingly. And we also see that there's a start engine and a stop engine method to the car class. This means that any class that inherits from car, it's going to have these two methods explicitly, not explicitly, implicitly, right? So even though we don't have to, we won't see them in the class, in that Ferrari class, we know that they'll be there, and we'll prove it when we run the code. So let's look at the Ferrari class, see how that happens. Here we have the Ferrari class. We know that anything inside the parentheses, it's going to be the base class. We just talked about the base class. That's going to be the parent class, if you will. Same thing, parent class or base class. We have a dunder init. Let's talk about what this dunder init is doing. And there's something in here that's specific to the way that we deal with inheritance. And it is a super keyword. Super is going to be calling the hierarchy within the inheritance tree. What does that mean? That means that it's going to say, hey, look, Ferrari, go to whatever the base class is, or the parent class. We know that's going to be car. And go ahead and run the dunder init method. Pass these three attributes. And when you come back, set the top speed to whatever the top speed is here. Now we're setting some defaults just to show that there are some default parameters that we can pass. That basically says if we don't explicitly set a car year to be passed to the dunder init method, well, we're going to set the car year to 2023, and similarly we're going to do the same thing for top speed, which is going to be 2024 if there is not one being passed in. Now notice how there is a vroom method. This is specific to the Ferrari class. This means that the parent doesn't have vroom, so the car class doesn't have this. It's not available to that car class. However, the other way around, the Ferrari class does have access to the stop engine and the start method, the start engine method, right? Because a Ferrari is a car, that's the relationship, and a car is a car, so a car is not a Ferrari. A Ferrari is a car, right? That's the way that you would say this in plain English. So, what does this vroom method do anyway? Well, it just returns a string and it returns the make, right? Vroom with my, whatever the make is, engine. So let's go ahead and invoke the dunder init method, right, for Ferrari, which we know then in turn it's going to go ahead and call the base class, the car class, and then come back to it and set the top speed. Here, we're going to just print whatever the vroom method returns, which we know it's going to be this string with whatever is in the curly brace being resolved to whatever that value is. So let's run this, see what happens. Run car. We see that vroom with my Ferrari engine. It's what gets displayed. Why is it the make Ferrari? Well, because we said Ferrari here, and this is the model, Ferrari LaFerrari. This is what this video is about. And by the way, this is the real top speed for this car, 217 miles per hour. I know, I looked it up. So again, what's the beauty of this? The beauty of this is that we can reuse code, because now we have invariant code that does not change. We have it stuffed in the parent class for reusability. Code that does change, like in this case the vroom method, this is going to be specific to the child class. And so that's the rule. We stuff variant code in the child classes, we stuff invariant code in the parent classes, meaning that we get to reuse these methods implicitly. We don't have to, we get these. Explicitly, we don't have to enter them here. We only have to manage them in the parent class, and we get them everywhere else. Everywhere else in those classes that we do inherit from class car, that is, over here. So, hope that makes sense. Stay tuned. We'll continue this conversation with a lot of the other things that we need to cover in terms of inheritance. But this starts talking about what's the syntax for extending from another class. In this case, we're having Ferrari extend from car.